Ronnie London, Executive Director of Boys Clubs of Wichita Falls Incorporated, says this about Ron Hill. Among the many inspirational speakers I've heard, including Alex Haley, Peter Ueberroth, and George Steinbrenner, Ron Hill ranks at the top of the list.
With people every day that are fighting all kinds of battles that we know nothing about because they look good, because they smell good, because they look like everything's going their way. But if you really knew them, they're fighting tough battles. I took that woman's kid some breakfast this morning. My little boy just knew that I was some friend that came by to take him some breakfast. He wouldn't have had breakfast had I not been there. There's a lot of little boys and a lot of little girls in this town today that are hungry. And what you're doing is to help feed some of those guys. This next year, there won't be as many hungry as there were last year because of what you're doing.
Ron Hill is a bright star shining in the Texas heavens. His words of encouragement inspire the tortoise to outrun the hare. His homespun humor tickles even the unfunny bone, and his ingenious wit would bring a smile to the lips of Will Rogers. He dares us to dream the impossible and exalts us to reach for the stars. In essence, he is a true visionary. He is an authority on the field of dreams.
Little boy, when he was a baby, his mama threw him in a trash can, tried to kill him. His daddy walked outside to empty some trash, looked in the trash can and saw him there. Reached down in the garbage, pulled his little boy out of the garbage, and he left that very day with that little boy. That little boy's grown up in the boys club. And I sat by his dad just about every year at the boxing tournament. Not very many people know that story. But Tyrone's, this little boy's had to fight all his life. He needs more than his dad. He needs the boys club.
Lori Rippey, Human Resources Analyst, Howmet Corporation, had this to say about Ron Hill. During the 1992 annual United Way Drive, I had requested the most dynamic speaker for our employee meetings. Howmet had been faced with a recent layoff, and the morale around the plant was somewhat low. As the coordinator for the event, I was somewhat skeptical as to how the drive would turn out. Only minutes into the first presentation, my skepticism had vanished. Ron had captured the attention of the crowd with his exciting yet heartwarming presentation. Employees who had chosen not to make a contribution were asking for new pledge cards. They had changed their mind about giving because of Ron Hill. I believe Ron's professionalism, dedication, and dynamic speaking skills would make a great asset to any company who is fortunate to employ him.
I really want to thank you today. I want to thank you for being who you are. I know some of you personally. Vicki Lee, thank you at Stanley for hiring some of my friends. Lori Rippey, thank you for what you did this last year to help people have a better Christmas. I know each one of you, and I know that what you did this last year, you were just yourself, Lori. Vicki, you were just yourself. And you know what? That was good enough. Because people came to your office and they asked to be able to be employed, and you saw to it that they were employed. Thank you. The best gift that you can give this community is what you gave, the gift of yourself. I'm going to kill him. He's right in the middle of the restaurant, and all of a sudden he jumps up in the restaurant, he jumps over those flowers, and he jumps over and going sitting there, and I'm sitting there, but I'm not down because by the time he's here, I'm going that way. You know, Don Davis jumps over here. Well, I'm already out the door, so then Don Davis starts chasing me, and I'm praying all the while, oh God, you just get me out of this one, I'll never do it again. You get. And I know he's capable of doing that. He used to work for me at camp. He had a time with his temper. But I'll tell you one thing, I've not been around very many young men that works as hard as this guy right here. This is one of the hardest working guys I know. Thanks for sharing that with the class and with me. You know who I wish you had said? You could have said a principal, you could have said a teacher, an administrator, a coach. You could have listed someone in your family, you could have listed one of your friends. You know who I wish you had said today? I wish every one of you would have raised your hand and been willing to answer this question, and I wish you had said, me. I like me. It's hard to say that sometimes. It's hard to say, you know, I have done a lot for myself. I've helped myself. It's just hard to do. It's hard to say, I like me. But I wish you had. I wish you could have. Because that would show you have a real strong self